First of all, thank you all for joining us. My name is Tom West. I'm VP Sales for SMARTfit. I want to do some quick introductions of our panelists, and then we'll turn it over to them after I show you a really short video of SMARTfit for those of you who maybe are not familiar with it. First, Kathy Lamberti is our, if you can wave, Kathy, thank you. She is our founder and CEO. Kathy Fisher is the CEO of the West Morris Area YMCA in New Jersey. Brian Caldera is the health and wellness coordinator at the West Morris YMCA. Did I get that right, Brian?
That's correct.
Thank you. Beth Deakins is the executive director of healthy living for the Greater Toledo Ys. Allison Lawson is the vice president of healthy living for the Buffalo Niagara Ys. And Nick Satchidanand is a professor and PhD at the University of Buffalo who did the original study on mild cognitive impairment in conjunction with the Buffalo Niagara Ys. So that's the introductions. We've got everybody here. I want to start with just a brief video, as I said. So I'm going to share screen here, and we'll switch it over to everybody else. So I hope that all gives you all at least an idea of what we do. We obviously do something nobody else does, and that is train the brain and the body simultaneously to improve brain health, to improve cognitive and motor function, and improve overall human performance. We put people in the zone, and Kathy Lamberti will expand upon that idea and concept. And I'm going to turn that over to Kathy.
I would just like to say thank you all for taking the time to be part of this program today. And really thank you to the panelists for being willing to share your experiences with SMARTfit. I'd like to just give a little bit of background about myself, and maybe I'll stop sharing until then. The key to what we're showing you today comes out of a legacy of my background being in education and a former school teacher. And I was the creator of the Sportwall products. And when I did that, we were, I believe we were in like 350 locations for the Ys. As a former school teacher, my goal was always to put movement into learning. And it was only as I met with experts over the years and learned more and more about how the brain works, this became a really big part of what I call my life's mission. And so what I'm sharing with you now is a culmination of about 25 years of work when I met Billie Jean King in 1998 and showed her my prototype. And she just, she was so excited and so encouraging, and she helped me to raise the first investment round for what I was doing. But the technology wasn't there until about 2012. So at that point, I met up with my current business partner, Jim Manley, who's a genius at technology. And we put our heads together and said, how do we put a technology together that can train the brain and body effectively, regardless of age and ability? So I'm going back to my screen share. And this is what we plan to do. Having my background in Africa and teaching in African schools with, up to 50 children in a classroom, I was always fascinated by the fact that we were all farm kids, and then how we interacted with life on the farm. And then we would come, and the kids would come and sit down all day. It was a mission school run by Catholics. So you would just have these kids sit for 8 hours. So the concern for me was we moved into a society that doesn't develop humans the way we evolved to do. And if you look at the hunter-gatherer model here, the adaptive capacity model, you're seeing a big focus on executive functioning, problem solving, cognitive flexibility, decision-making, and planning. These are a huge part of our everyday lives. And when you start with the brain and then you put it out to the motor system, it becomes skill development, motor learning, cardiovascular strength, all of these things come together, but with the brain leading. So that was the number one thing. We wanted to create a technology that simulates that. And that's what we have done. It wasn't easy. Just to explain how the platform had to work for everybody. When I met with Jim, he said, we have to be as fast as the fastest human ever. And that the reaction skills of the fastest human was 0.3 seconds. So we had to have a deployment to those targets that you see, intelligent deployment that was faster than 0.3 seconds. Okay, so the first number of years we worked on we worked on single station systems, and we worked on creating a suite of games that can draw on the physical skills and the cognitive skills, and then scalable. So everything was from very, very basic and building so that there's this constant leveling to keep people challenged but never overwhelmed. So when we added the computer game component, we found that there was an acceleration in the whole process because the person was finding themselves in a real world situation, simulated real world situation. So the game would sort of trigger everything to come together. And so we built all of these games that would really focus on different domains of the brain and different skill development while developing the domains of the brain. I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but then the next thing we wanted to do was to get that out there. And some of you have what we call single station systems. But the real goal was to say, how do we put this into a multi-station so we can offer this as a SMARTfit as a station in a small group or large group circuit training? But also, what if the system handled a large group of 30 or 40 individuals? How can we track their data and motivate everybody, both in team with the whole team concept and with the data capture? So what I'm showing you here is what I'm super excited about. And this is a preview of what's going to be released in the next month. We now have the ability to train teams simultaneously, generate a quick group 4 stations, 3 stations, 2 stations, however many stations you have, and then generate to a large screen the instructions of who's next. And we've made it real easy for an instructor to set up a group, put the group into teams, change them around if one team is too strong, making sure that there's a balance here, and then capture the data of each individual's for tracking purposes or not. You're not always going to want to have data. Sometimes you just want to organize a group and go. And this feature allows you to do that. So I'm pretty excited about how this has all come together for single stations all the way through to the multi-station with data available on absolutely everything we offer. So without taking any more of your time, I'm going to stop share and pass it back to you, Tom.
Thank you very much, Kathy. I hope that helped everybody get a further understanding of what we do and how it might help you guys. Let's start out. We're going to start with the Buffalo Niagara Wise in collaboration with, as I mentioned, the University of Buffalo. I'll let you guys take it from here in terms of how you would plan this.
I'm Allison Lawson, as Tom said, from the YMCA Buffalo Niagara. And for the past several years, we have been working, actually, it all began, correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, pre-pandemic. We did start the Movers and Makers program, the research program with UB at that time, and obviously we're shut down because of the pandemic. But since then, we've gradually reintegrated that into our program delivery. We are a 6-branch association. So we started with a couple, and now we're venturing out to 4 or 5 branches using the SMARTfit and introducing the Movers and Makers program. So I'm going to let Dr. Nick talk more about the Movers and Makers program.
So actually, this my very first experience working with SMARTfit actually goes back all the way to 2016 and 17, when I had a fellowship through the university to develop just on the cognitive training side. We were really interested in putting together an exercise-based program that would improve cognition and motor function in older adults who have MCI, who have mild cognitive impairment. And I was immediately drawn to it when I started looking, kind of just Googling, okay, how do we deliver a dual task program that is feasible, but that is also a lot of fun and engaging? And I spent a lot of time looking in the wrong direction at sort of inferior products and sort of inferior ideas around how one builds a program like this or builds a product like this, and eventually came to find SMARTfit. And so we were able, through a grant through the Health Foundation for Western and Central New York, they provided some funding in order to get us one system. So it was really, I guess it was two separate systems at the William Emsley YMCA, which is close to downtown Buffalo. So it serves a very underserved, mostly minority population. And we're it worked very, very well. People were engaged and having a good time. Our participant, like sort of the retention rate for that program was very near 100%. Once people started and kind of got used to the technology, they were very happy to continue to participate. And we published one paper based on that particular program. And so we have very encouraging results. And with those encouraging results, we were able to bring that back to the Health Foundation, and they've agreed to now fund a much larger program, which is going to involve 4 YMCAs. And so I've had only positive experiences with SMARTfit. I've known Kathy a long time. I know I've known Tom a long time, and I want to shout out to TJ wherever he is, because they've been an incredible team to work with. When we have technical problems that happen now and again, but not very often, they are so quick to help us out with that piece and to get us, up and running again. No matter if it's day or night, they seem to find a way to make it work. So I'm really very happy with it. The science is very, very clear. The dual task piece of this, I think, is critically important. And there is no other company that offers sort of an exergaming system that really has a foundation in neuroscience. And that was something that I, as a scientist, I was immediately drawn to. And we've had a really, really positive experience with it. And by far, when I am teaching the classes, and I don't teach often anymore because I have other things as a faculty member I have to do. But when I'm teaching those classes, it is by far the most rewarding piece of part of the job that I have with regard to my programming. And we do a lot of other things. I will also say that we have a SMARTfit, a mini system that we have now at a very newly opened Aging and Resilience Research Center that is actually located not at the University of Buffalo, but is actually in a retirement community. So then they have independent living, assisted living, memory care, inpatient, outpatient rehabilitation, kind of the whole spectrum of the experience, with regard to aging. And so we'll be testing some of the SMARTfit, the mini, sort of the features of the mini within that population as well. And so I can really only say positive things about it. We've had a great experience with SMARTfit.
And we're looking forward to doing more with the SMARTfit and the research program with UB, which obviously the cognitive mobility and balance are a huge focus now for YMCA's falls prevention. Am I right, YMCA? So this fits in perfect for us, but also we are also in the process of, we just recently restructured our leadership teams, and we are, diving more into small group training along with more youth sports programming, which was lacking. So this SMARTfit will also serve those needs too. But, we have several programs running right now for dementia individuals, respite programs. So we're looking forward to being able to use the SMARTfit in more programs outside movers and makers.
Excellent. Thank you both. Anything else to add to that?
I'm excited. Yeah.
Let me jump in briefly. That's something I neglected to mention. If you all notice, I'm sure you're aware of this. If you look down at the bottom under Q&A, if you have questions, please enter those into that section. And then at the end of this, we will come back to those questions so our panelists can answer those. So let me turn this over now to Beth Deacons with the Greater Toledo Wise.
Hello, I'm joining you today, not from Toledo, but from Colorado. I'm here for a conference, so I almost said good morning because it's just barely afternoon here. So we use SMARTfit primarily, almost exclusively for folks that have Parkinson's. We've got an individual that has MSA, which is multiple system atrophy, which is similar to Parkinson's in a lot of ways, but a much more rare condition. We've also got a couple of folks that have early onset dementia that are benefiting from using SMARTfit. So we do ours in an individual setting. We don't do any groups because we're working with folks that are pretty frail and likely to fall. So we work one-on-one with them. We have been using SMARTfit now for, gosh, Tom, I should have looked at this before we started, but probably about a year and a half, maybe 2 years.
That's about right.
I just recently asked some of our folks for some testimonials because we've had a lot of folks that have started with us a year and a half or so ago and have stuck with it 2 to 3 times a week. So we have folks that started with us a year and a half ago, wheelchair based. They did not move independently, and they're now walking independently again because we're able to be so tailored and focused on what it is that they need when we're in that one-on-one setting and within the SMARTfit system. So for those that are unfamiliar with MSA, I just want to give you a little bit of a highlight of what that condition is, what it means, because I have a powerful testimonial from that one individual that we have with that condition that's using the system 2 times a week. So MSA, or multiple system atrophy, is a neurological condition that causes people to lose coordination and balance. It also causes changes in things like speech and loss of bodily function control. It's rare, sometimes shares symptoms with Parkinson's, which this individual does have some Parkinson's symptoms. He was initially diagnosed with Parkinson's and had some progression that didn't make sense for that condition. There's no cure for MSA. It's a fatal condition for everyone that's had it. And his doctors, he went back for a checkup. He's been doing SmartFit with us now for just over a year. And he will, he sees his doctors regularly. Went to the Cleveland Clinic for a checkup, and his doctor couldn't believe that his condition was not progressing. It was not getting worse. He had actually improved in some of the testing that they were doing, which is unheard of in MSA. So I'm going to read his testimonial because I do think it tells a better story than I could tell. Let me just pull that up here. Don says, it's been a game changer for me. The personalized programs have enabled me to focus on the areas where I'm being most impacted by the disease. The team I'm working with is great. They know the system and are able to adapt the program on the fly to reflect how I'm doing that day. The SmartFit system has been excellent. It's helped with my balance, coordination, and gait, all of which were in steady decline. SmartFit has enabled me to fight back against the decline. Can't say enough good things about the system and the team I'm working with. They make it fun yet challenging, and clearly care about me and are committed to helping me battle the disease. That's why we do what we do, right? Especially WISE, right? We want folks to have healthy lifestyles, whatever that looks like for them. And for our participants, we have lots of those sorts of stories because of the SmartFit system. Again, we're using it in maybe a more targeted way. But I think there are lots of folks that could benefit our active older adult population. If I had room in my schedule, in the SmartFit system schedule, I'd pull in as many people as I could. But that'd require me to work around the clock. So I think there's a lot of opportunity. Again, some more concrete things that we're noticing, improvements in strength and stability. So we're measuring our folks every 8 weeks. So their sit to stands, their timed up and goes are all consistently improving. Improvements in single leg balance. Everybody that comes in to us for their initial assessment says, I can't stand on one leg. I know you can't stand on one leg, but show me you can't stand on one leg, right? And by the end, they're killing it. 60 seconds is no big deal to them for the vast majority. So really, really improved reductions in risk for falls, that people are steadier on their feet. They're able to lift their feet. We know that rugs and things that catch under feet are a big concern as folks age. Some of the things that we're working on through the SmartFit system get them used to raising their feet higher so that those trip hazards hopefully are less of an issue for them. So I think that's my sales pitch, Tom. I'll send it back to you.
I've been waiting for those stories. We touched on them, and I appreciate that you're sharing those with everybody. That was great. Thank you. So I will now turn this over to the West Morris area YMCAs, starting with Kathy. Kathy, I'll let you introduce everybody. I've introduced Brian, but I understand you have some others joining you as well.
Yeah, I have a team of very dedicated and passionate professionals here joining me today. So Brian, of course, who you met earlier, I have Brenda Denor with us here today, and Carly Heller. I don't know if they're going to stick their faces in. They're both instrumental in working with our Rock Steady Boxing program, as well as our senior fitness program and so many other things. So, yeah, Brian, if you could share the screen, because I'm not on SmartFit enough to remember what I'm supposed to be talking about here. I will tell you, I've been with the West Morris area YMCA for over 20 years, and in this industry and with the YMCA for more decades than I'm willing to divulge, actually. So it's been a long time, and it's not often that I'm excited about products. I'm very excited about this SmartFit, and we're new to it right now, but I will tell you, I spent the better part of my career as a trainer. And so, we've been doing dual task training with clients for years, but to find a system that provides the fun and is so engaging and is gamified and competitive is just fantastic. So I thought that I would kind of approach this from our considerations and how it can help us organizationally, and then I'll turn it over to the team and they can talk to you about the nuts and bolts of the programs that we're offering. So, again, some considerations. So have a really good feel for the clients that you want to attract. I will tell you, and I don't know if the other YMCAs are experiencing this. Honestly, this is a good problem to have. We don't need more members. We need more external awareness, and we need the members that we have buying into different programming to increase our revenue, right? That's what we need. So organizationally, that's our initiative around SMARTfit. We also have I think, a very strong foundation when it comes to working with people with Parkinson's. We've had programming for years. Also chronic illness, we have a big aquatic rehab clientele. So we, we already have that kind of built-in market, but we needed to offer them something different. We also have a need for being more involved with youth sports, right, and athletic training. So this is giving us the best of all those worlds. Once we kind of decided where we wanted to go with this, the next impact was revenue versus value added, right? Because if you go down the wrong path and you made a mistake and you want to go back, everybody in a YMCA knows you can't go back, right? You can't not charge for it and then all of a sudden charge for it. So we know that we need to increase our bottom line. So we're attacking this product from a revenue perspective. The location of the equipment is also very important for us. And we were originally thinking about kind of what we would call a SMARTfit lab, but we felt that that was far too isolated. And so we have our system in the gymnasium, which 90% of the population who enters our Y has to go by it so that they see it. We were lucky enough to purchase the Mini, the Pro Trainer, and the Strike Pods all through donations. So I met with one major donor individually, and then the rest of it we were able to pay for via grassroots participation from our Rocksteady boxing folks, right? We don't often go to them for money. We've never gone to them before for money, but when we educated them on this piece of equipment and we talked to them about how we really felt that this was the next step in helping them fight this disease, they were all in. So we bought everything through donation. Once we had that secured, I cannot stress enough the importance of product rollout and how to get the buy-in from the people that you want to utilize this, right? So we started by educating everybody from top down, the board and all of our staff. We held individual training sessions. We held group training sessions. We educated people on this equipment, but we've also found that if they're not on it, if you don't give them the experience, they might not really kind of get what this equipment can do for them. So we incorporated it into it. We run this all staff training during shutdown, and it's mandatory, and everybody comes. And one of the components of that training was to actually receive education on the SMARTfit and then to actually participate on the SMARTfit. As a matter of fact, last week, Brian and Carly delivered SMARTfit experience to our board of directors. The first 20 minutes of our board meeting, they're on SMARTfit. And I cannot tell you what that does from a product rollout perspective. It gets people very excited about it. And so any of your members that walk into the facility and they ask you about the equipment, they can speak to it from experience. And that's a whole different level, right, of being able to talk that way. We also are marketing the heck out of it. We've got a rolling screen that's in the lobby. That's just 24/7 video of SMARTfit. But we also ran what we called VIP events, where we sent invitations to the members in our organization that quite honestly are the most vocal or have the biggest mouths, right? And we knew they were going to do it, and we knew they were going to love it. And now they're out there talking about it. Okay. And the team can tell you more about all the special events that we've been running to get people to come in and try this thing, right? Lastly, the last thing I would say is don't spread yourself too thin. Pick and choose where you want to start. Do that and do that really well, and then move on to the next thing. And while we're doing a lot of internal, we're also doing a lot of external. And when they talk to you about how we're doing that and how we're delivering that, I think that might be a little bit different than what most organizations and most facilities are going to do. So I think you'll get a better grasp of what I'm trying to say here when they move forward with the presentation. But I do want to thank Tom and Kathy for inviting us. This is really exciting for us, and I think it can greatly benefit other YMCAs. And I feel if other Ys are also incorporating this into their program and utilizing this, it just becomes better for all of us, because we would also like to see SMARTfit be something that prospective members come in and ask for. Hey, do you have SMARTfit? You know, just like they used to, and I know I'm dating myself, but a million years ago. Hey, do you have Nautilus? Hey, do you have a treadmill? Hey, do you have, whatever. So anyway, thank you. Thanks for the time, and I'll turn it over to the rest of the team.
Thanks, Kathy.
All right, so we are going to go ahead and start with one of our Rocksteady coaches, Carly. So I'm going to just go ahead and rotate my computer, and she's going to give you a little bit on what she's been doing. There you go.
Hi, I'm Carly Heller, and I've had the privilege of working with our SMARTfit since we implemented it in late June, early July. And it has been more amazing than I had ever thought it would be. The reviews from our boxers have been awesome. And when we first brought it in, we started with simple tasks. So strike the lit circle. And as the boxers got more and more comfortable, we built on that. So most recently, we've been really challenging them with multiplication tables. They want to multiply by 3s, multiply by 4s. And you see their cognitive connections getting better and better as they work the program. Adding the implement of physical activity as well. Obviously in the beginning was a bit of a challenge, but once they keep doing it, they get better and better. So they really like their ABCs, their numbers. I mean, with our more cognitively declined clients, just simply striking a lit, one of the lit circles, the track with a medicine ball is great for them. We've also added, which they love, our Rocksteady boxers always love a good competition. So we have the Pro, which has the 3 separate units, and we make them compete against each other as teams. We'll set them up in groups of 4, and you have to strike, ABCs. You're doing A, B, C, pass it on to the next person. You have to help them, tell them what letter they're on. They love a good competition. So watching their cognitive connections get more, better and better with competitions is amazing. I'm going to show you a little video here.
Click the button or that right arm.
Okay. So here's a video of our Rocksteady boxers on the SMARTfit. They're practicing falling. Getting up.
It's so great.
That's a great idea.
So adding that physical component, practicing their falls and getting up, and then getting back to the SMARTfit and striking. It's amazing. They love it. And as you can see on the top, they are competing against each other. So that internal competitive makes them work harder. They have more fun. So it's gamified. They're having a great time while they're working out. Sometimes they forget that they're getting any cognitive work at all. I have a couple testimonials on here. So one testimonial, the SMARTfit device has helped me with my ability to multitask. Since having joined Rocksteady Boxing and using SMARTfit, I am finding that my concentration and thinking capacity is returning. This is from a person who just joined. He's very young, just got diagnosed with Parkinson's, still in the workforce, and he was finding himself not being able to concentrate. He's in IT, so he needs to be able to focus. And he's been with us about 3 months. with the combination of Rock Steady Boxing and our SmartFit, he is having great return of his concentration and thinking, which is amazing. 3 months he's been using this and working Rock Steady Boxing, and he's already seeing improvement. Another, ooh, need to touch that. Well done. SmartFit is a challenging and fun tool that I enjoy using. It helps with my peripheral vision, memory, agility, and concentration. This is from one of our 3-4 level boxers. And she finds herself, you know, having to look back and forth, and it's helping her memory, her, you know, she's going faster and faster, and her concentration. So it's been great. Again, she's been with our program for a long time, but SmartFit, she's been using for about 4 months. Oh, that's not me. Okay. Anyway, one other fun story I just wanted to tell you, which shows how great SmartFit is. One of my boxers who also on top of this has dementia, finds himself really can't concentrate. He is the best on SmartFit. He is like lightning. So to watch him make those cognitive connections more quickly has been one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Just showed me how great SmartFit can be. Thank you. I'm going to turn this over to Brenda.
I'll get closer. Hello. Hi, I'm Brenda Denor. I'm actually an exercise physiologist, kinesiologist, and the head coach for Rock Steady Boxing. And but many of my connections are through the community and networking. I serve on a lot of committees, the Chamber of Commerce, ELPS, the Health and Fitness Committee at the local college, Municipal Alliance Committee. So there's a lot of contact with the community. And this is where Y2U comes in. As you can see from this picture, this is how we load up our Mini. We put our Mini in here, free marketing, guys. We just drive down the road. So because of the contacts, we have a contract with one of our senior communities, and we bring the Y to them, Y2U, and it's the Mini. We're providing games, activities. We go there twice a month, and we break them up into, there's 2 groups of 12. I go with another trainer. 2 or 3 are doing a Mini, and they're doing other areas to help with balance and other activities. But we always have some fun games. There's a lot of laughter, and they're competitive. Just because you age doesn't mean you lose your competitive edge, which gave me a light bulb over my head. The next thing I decided to come up with was we invited anybody 55 and over. We don't call them seniors, older adults, 55 and over. Come to a demo and let's see what a team or a league would look like. So I had them team up, and this was a competition. All 3 of them, you can see the numbers are all the same. They're all on the same team. So those 3 numbers, okay, I wrote those down. The next team comes up, we put their scores down. So I decided to kind of run this league like, I don't know if you guys remember Wii Bowling, how popular that was. Man, that was so popular. SmartFit leagues started with 55 and over. 28 seniors came to this demo and stayed for the whole hour. The first time we did it, we didn't have the Pro, we had the Mini. So we said, let's do it again. They all came back. They were so into it. We broke them up into teams. They realized how amazing this was. I think I played 8 different games, so they could see how different it was. I really mixed it up. We used sticks, we used medicine balls, we had them on the floor, we had steps, we had chairs, everything you can imagine. And I still didn't even touch the surface. I mean, there's so many games. At the end of the hour, you know what they said to me? When do we start? They wanted to start. They wanted to start the next week. So we're in the process of establishing a base cost. I'd like to run it like maybe like, when you go bowling, you pay per game. It's a little easier on people with a fixed budget. So we're kind of I'm thinking of running it like playing per game and having a championship. Still don't know how many weeks we're going to run it. Still working on that. But the desire is there. We're going to start. And because the 55 and over are so into it, now look at all the other age groups. And that segues into our youth programs. Here's another, I don't know if you can see this, but this is another, we're using the pods and the mini for this. I don't know, can they see it?
Yeah, they should be able to see
Okay.
it.
But that's just another idea of what we do.
Unless the gym is in the way.
And now we're going to talk about the youth. So we'll go to Brian.
All right. So we have had the opportunity to kind of have this technology for a while, and as the person, for better or worse, leading the charge on SMARTfit, along with a lot of help from a lot of people, but I've been sort of overseeing program implementation. I decided, we need to start using people as guinea pigs, for lack of a better term. So we have a summer camp here at the Y. So one of the demographics that when we look at our programming, as far as what people can do in this facility, there's a lot of gaps in like that 8 to 13 to 16 range. So I decided, I was just, as a trainer at this time, I was doing the summer camp fitness hour, and on days that they couldn't be outside, whether it was inclement weather, excessive heat, whatever it was, I was like, well, they have to be in the gym anyway. We're going to use SMARTfit. So this kind of, even more than allowing them to play with it, allowed me to play with it and learn kind of how to format things. Like if I have a group of 30 kids, what's the best way to set up? What do I have? Do I have 15 of them do something, 15 of them do SMARTfit? What kind of games lend themselves to this size of group and this attention span? This also allowed us to start kind of rolling out more aggressive marketing. So I'm going to just tilt before I go to Instagram and show you some of the reels about summer camp, I'm just going to kind of tilt my screen down. We have printed these SMARTfit shirts that have been handed out to staff. So there are people walking around the building constantly with SMARTfit kind of in your face. So we've really done, I think, a good job of getting the brand out there to our members. And that includes digital marketing. So this is going to take us real quick to Instagram. So these are just some of the things that we've done with the kids, is setting up like kind of the whole gym, make them do teamwork, relay races. You see lunges, functional exercises that kids need to be doing in order to develop the proper biomechanics, movement patterns, in order to then grow out of, not out of this, but into free weights in the gym. And then, as you can see, a couple of adults snuck into the reel, but for the most part, that's kind of how I wanted to attack youth programming. I think there's a lot of issues going on caused by COVID. So I like to focus, as much as like the dual tasking is beneficial for activities of daily living, I like to make the kids work together and learn how to kind of communicate effectively. They lost just a few years of socialization to COVID. They are growing up in an age of digital technology, so a lot of their communications are via screen, text. So I like to try and incorporate as many partner workouts, team workouts as possible. Another part of getting this in front of kids is we've been able to go to public events where we have a booth. So this is also another component of that Y to U, where we bring our services to the public. This is a quick clip of us at a local elementary school's Welcome Back to School Carnival. So it allows us to not only sell SmartFit, but sell the Y itself, because we'll have our booth with our typical membership, swim lessons, summer camp. But kids are going to want to come over and play with this technology. And it's going to get people interested in talking to us. So while I have the kids playing SmartFit, my coworker from the Welcome Center is trying to sell membership. So this just gets out the awareness that we have this able to even be rented, since they can clearly see that it's mobile. So that's just a short clip of us on the road. One of the things that we're working on now and is launching in November is a program that we're calling Junior Brain Builders. It is a lot of what I worked on in summer camp. It is functional exercise, it's SmartFit, it's teamwork, communication, and it's just a really fun way to get kids to exercise for 45 minutes without, telling them drop and give me 20 push-ups. You can have them do 4 sets of 5 push-ups in between a game of SmartFit. So this was a free demo we ran alongside one of our youth group fitness classes. It is called Junior Boot Camp. So we kind of built this as a companion. 15 kids came out. So you'll see in this first clip, I had my group fitness instructor, Christine. She worked with half the class on this agility ladder. And then I had half the class running a partner relay with the strike pods. So she would find the color 3 times, pass the drumsticks to her partner, and they would kind of run as a relay race. This second clip is with our pro trainer, 3 teams competing, 3 teams of 5. So what I asked them to do was do a bear crawl up to the board, pop up, play left, right, both 3 times, and then run back, tag your teammate. So these are just some of the things that we've been able to do, and we're really looking forward to building on them. One of the things I'd like to point out is one of the attendees of the Junior Boot Camp, he has Down syndrome, but he was able to participate and do everything due to the system's adaptability and inclusivity for all populations. So even if there were challenges working with him in certain areas, the features that this system has in order to modify and customize the cognitive task allows us to basically do whatever we want for whoever we want. And I think that's its greatest asset. So we're looking at, in development right now, we're running, we did another demo with our pickleballers. They get some free pickleball time every week. We would like to get them to start paying for a few things and hopefully preventing injuries, falls. As we just sell it to them as you're going to become better pickleballers. So we've had a couple demos where we work on like lateral movement, agility, hand-eye coordination. And then we're going to convert one of our free hit zone classes into a paid smart hit class, more for your general adult population. And those will hopefully be ready to go by December. But here's a quick, this is just rally wall with the pickleball. We did have the strike pod set up, make them move forward, backwards, side to side. Kind of, I'd track the target as if they were receiving the ball. So we did this quick little 30-minute demo before their open play. A lot of them loved it. And I think this echoes the overall sentiment that people love it once they play with it. So if you can give your members and your community the opportunity to get on it for free, give them a taste and get them to fall in love with it, then they will see the value and be willing to enroll in some of the more specialized programs that you decide to develop. Down the line, we're looking at an expansion of our offsite offerings. We filed for grant funding from the state of New Jersey that is currently rolling out an initiative for healthy aging. So we're awaiting a decision on that. Otherwise, it's just networking, contacting senior living facilities, directors and coordinators, getting in front of them and saying, hey, we can come to you for a demo during, let's say, one of your resident cocktail hours. It also will help you sell your facility if you have a more robust cognitive training program. Internally, sport-specific skills clinics. And I would like to recently met with an individual who works with stroke recovery patients, and he sells a medical device, but a lot of people don't qualify and they have nowhere really to go. So we're looking at sort of establishing shorter service offerings that are kind of SMARTfit only, as like a continued physical therapy rehab, and getting people, even if it's not stroke recovery, any rehab, getting them that crucial next step in between physical therapy and like a full-blown return to the gym or daily life. So this is where we see ourselves taking it. And just to echo the sentiments of Kathy, our CEO, we've been really diligent about developing the programs, getting the target audience in front of it, and communicating upfront that they would be paid, why they're paid, really having our staff knowledgeable about the technology and how it works. And that's what's really empowered us to kind of see some early success with it. And I think as long as people get to continue experiencing it and understanding it, it will only get bigger and better. So that is from the West Morris YMCA. That is what we have for you as far as presentation. So Tom, I will give you back the screen.
Thank you very, very much. I know we all appreciated that. Very thorough presentation, and as well as everybody else's. I'm gonna jump into questions unless Kathy, did you have anything to add? Kathy Fisher?
No, not at this point. I mean, I think it gave you a better perspective on the things that we're actually rolling out and what our plans are for moving forward, you know, and all the diverse demographics and the number of lives that we're able to impact with this thing, right? So it's totally a mission-driven concept, you know.
Well, we appreciate it. You know, the others that presented today came on board earlier than you did. They did not have the opportunity to try the Pro Trainer because that's a relatively new product, you know, but we're thrilled with what you've done with it and how you've approached this. And we hope, as you said, that you can get more Ys involved, and maybe you can start doing competitions between Ys. I've got a few people with some questions. Let me just jump right into those. And Kathy Lamberti, if you have anything to add to this, please do.
Yeah.
First question is, how robust is the system? Is it in the gym? If it is in the gym, what happens when a basketball hits it or a person runs into it with full force?
Yeah, I'd like to answer that. We designed for that. So I had a fit the other day when I was watching someone doing drills with high performance athletes on the system, and they were throwing a 20-pound medicine ball at the system, and I went, oh my gosh. But the system performed fine. So you just have to adjust the sensitivity to the impact of the system. But we've designed to handle any air-filled sports ball, medicine balls. I would say up to air-filled ones, 4 pounds, but I've actually seen 20 pounds. And as I said, we didn't design for that, but it still works. So, you know, we are known for for creating systems that can be beaten up all day, all year, year in and year out. You know, some of our sport walls out there are 20 years old and they're still working. So that's our legacy. There's something I would like to throw out just for your imaginations. The one part of the technology that we haven't completed yet, but we're heading there, is what we can do on the cloud. And you know how you've got these competitions going. Well, if I'm still the CEO and I'm still leading this incredible team of engineers in the next year, we'll probably be able to do inter-YMCA competitions in real time, in real life. So I look forward to that day where you got a bunch of YMCAs all competing, regardless of age or ability, right? So that's the goal.
Thanks, Kathy. Let me get another question. And this is something I'm sure is on all of your minds that are here. And I'll answer it and then I'll suggest that we get together individually. Can I have some information on what kind of system would fit the needs of my programs? We would definitely be wanting it for you sports. What system would I need and what is the price? That I think that is those are very personal, why specific questions, although obviously a lot of whys will do different things with it. Obviously, the programs you've seen today, it's been the full range from Parkinson's to dementia to kids to everybody else in the world. I will suggest one thing on our website. I'll show you this briefly, but I won't go into the details of it.
While Tom's doing that, a quick answer is our products range from about 5,000 to about 40,000, and it's all modular, so you can build as you can go. And the other thing that hasn't been shown here yet is the work with the toddlers, early childhood development, teaching kids the basics of learning, but the 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds really, really love this system. So I would also recommend that.
Thanks, Kathy. You're looking at our YMCA page right here, and I will send you this link, all of you who are on this call. If you go to the performance, you can see it's images. This is the original video we showed you. This shows you some ideas for how you would fit it into a multi-purpose room and a couple of quotes. A little bit more on the science behind this, the study that Nick and the Y did in Buffalo, another one at the University of Southern California on Parkinson's disease, which was very successful. So there's more there, but I will send you that link. If you go to the performance page of the website, and then you look to your question about purchasing, what to purchase. If you go to the purchasing guide at the top of the page, and it will, if you click on the very first notice, it takes you through the various products, some of the ones that have been talked about. The trainers, for instance, are in Buffalo at the William Emsley YMCA. The mini high impact is the system that Toledo has. The mini low impact, the one that's portable that they take around the community, is one of the 3 systems that the West Morris area YMCA has. And then, of course, you saw the tripods, excuse me, and the Pro Trainer. So that'll give you a start in terms of beginning to touch base on that. I will reach out to the person who asked that question directly. And if any of the rest of you want to reach out to me, I think you have my email address. If you don't, it's tom@smartfitinc.com. And what we need to do is learn more about your programs and then kind of give you some consultants' advice on where you might go with it. So, Kathy, anything to add to that?
No, good. We can end share screening.
Yeah, I'm gonna I think I can stop sharing. So, I think that was it in the way of questions.
I would personally like to thank everybody for taking the time to see what this is. And it's just a tremendous amount of gratitude. You know, my life's career has been based on how do we address the communities with solutions that help us ensure brain and motor health in a way that's consistent with how we evolved, because that's what our DNA is all about. And when you wonder why the systems are so well embraced, and then also why they produce such fast transference, it's because we're triggering the DNA that has been there for hundreds of thousands of years, and we're training in a way that's consistent. The gamification turns on the executive function of the brain, and you're in a real life situation. So that's what we've tried to do. But we try to do it in a way that's scalable, customizable, so the same equipment can be used for absolutely everybody. And we're a dedicated team. We are so focused on YMCAs because Beth Fisher, when she led the research on Parkinson's, and when I asked her, the Parkinson's study, we outperformed her best physical therapy program. And I said to her, well, where do we take this? And she just said the YMCAs and the community centers, because the people who can't afford the best physical therapy need to be able to get to this easily. And my gratitude to you all, because you're doing it and you're reaching people that wouldn't normally be able to afford this. And I think that meets with all of our mission to help as many people as possible. And the last note, I know I'm over time, but the kids with autism and the kids with learning disabilities and motor control, ADHD, there are games specifically designed for these part components for the little kids as well. So reach out to me anytime. I'm always available to help. And if you've got ideas for stuff that's not in the system, reach out to me, because we're very responsive to learning how to make our systems better. Thank you.
Thank you all from me as well, very much. Look forward to talking to you. As you have questions, please feel free to reach out. Anything to add from the panelists? Thank you very much for participating and sharing your stories. We very much appreciate it, and I'm sure the attendees do as well. Thank you.